Hey, it's Frano here. So I'm just making a quick video about some understandings recently. I've just been to the gym, which again stimulates my whole body, invigorates my being. So now I've got some interesting messages from spirit, rather than just sitting in being lazy. It's hard to get the connections when you're not challenging yourself. Ultimately, you need to challenge yourself to move up, and you need to move up in consciousness, mentally and physically, to even get beginning on a spiritual path. So anyway, apart from being a preacher, I'm going to talk to you about a few words and understandings. So basically, the word maze is almost an inversion of ways, and how basically the maze is something that Brandon recently talked about. Ryzen, shout out to Ryzen, talked about how we can get stuck in a maze that is the matrix, the society, may. And this brings upon uncertainty, because May is ironically the politician in England now is Theresa May, and this is all uncertainty, and uncertainty doesn't give you spiritual growth. This is why we're talking about going all in for spirit. You need to really commit, because if you're living in May all the time, you're going to be stuck in a maze, man-made maze, rather than living in willpower and living in ways and using your ways, a direct inversion of maze, ways, to get through, and still get through with spirituality, because there's many ways to do this. Okay, and we're not going to waste our time. Don't be confused, because even religions and songs have meanings. We don't want to put any unnecessary energy into any symbology, because symbols are just symbols, and they only become powerful when we put energy into these things. Same with every TV show you've ever seen, every live show, every news show. The more energy we put into this, the more energy, the more kind of a paradigm it becomes a part of, or the more kind of powerful it becomes in a way. But I won't get into that. Basically, what I'm saying is, sorry, I just need to spit. There's many things that we use, and they can become like, my video that I'm going to post as well as this one today is about like things coming back to haunt you, like an aunt. But basically, no, what I'm saying is that we have figures of speech, and you can look at a figure like a statue and imagine like the figures. I've said another video about sculpting your stone and chiseling your stone into what you are, and words can effectively be things that are like chiseling you and shaping you. But don't let words shape you and sculpt you and make you a figure, because we're not really figures here. We're deeper than that. We're more, ultimately we are like spirits in a physical figure is the whole illusion. It's the whole game that we're in here. And really, we're just vibrating spiritual beings, kind of like going in a physical plane most of the time, until we dream, until we close our eyes and meditate, until we imagine, do all these things that connect us to the non-physical. We are kind of like a sculpture in a way. So a figure or a sculpture. But this is also works. A figure of 8 is something that goes on and on and on and on and on. Figure of 8. If you look at the letter 9, it gives you a way out. 9. Instead of round and round and round, it goes a way out or a way in. It could be either, but let's just not get too deep. Yeah, even the letter D is like that, because the people that developed languages and stuff like that, it came from positions, they came from consciousness, and they didn't just make these symbols and letters out of nowhere. They thought about all of this. Like A looks like the Illuminati triangle. It's A. It's like a cut off capital A. Or you can draw a curved A. You know what I mean? It becomes more. That's literally like a waveform, like a sine wave, as opposed to a cut off like square tooth wave or whatever they're called, sawtooth. But this is like, I'm going into music and vibration, which I shouldn't be sidetracking from my point of like a figure of 8 and a figure of speech. Okay. So this is not talking literally. I'm talking about how figures of speech are actually traps for you. You don't want to get caught up in too much bullshit in figures of speech, because it's not going to effectively make or stimulate the best change that you can put into the world, into this matrix. So if you're talking about figures of speech like we say everything, or all the time, or everyone, or these are actually wasting energy because they're exaggerations and they're not true, they're not pragmatic. If you look into being like someone that actually realizes change as opposed to someone that just talks about it, you'd realize that you're wasting a lot of time in your conciseness. And this is why, like, universities, we don't want to babble on in an essay. We've got a certain amount of words we need to concise it all down to, and that's like everyday life as well. It's a life skill to not babble on and to not use like unnecessary to not get caught up in figures of speech, because that literally it's just gonna be a loop cycle, and it's gonna be something that you need to get to 9, basically from 8 to 9 to get out of it. And 9 also means no in German, that's obviously a key thing, because you're getting past the loops of woo woo bullshit, yin yang, everything that wants to keep you on a circle, and you're just saying no, basically. And then obviously 10 is where you have 2 letters. You have the one, the straight path, and then the circle. So you're working with oneness, and you're working with this loop system. So this is all inner standings, and it's something anyone can access this kind of thing by looking, because the system is a very old system. And if you believe in reincarnation, there's been a lot of people that are wise these days that have been very wise in the past as well, to all of this symbology, numerology, and other things, and words and stuff. Why do you think some people are just born smarter? You think that's all coincidence? Like, you get indigo children that are very wise. They seem to know more about the world than their parents, more about things. You can't really deny reincarnation if you put the evidence together, which I have. So for me, yeah, there is something. You don't need to be scared of it, because death is something. I recently heard in a podcast with Russell Brand, and he was saying he was with an interesting guy that had been meditating a lot and stuff, and they were just saying how, yeah, death is like something we're not aware of. So what's the point of putting fear into it? And it's the same with symbology, and a lot of things, and like TV and pointlessness, fashion, all these things. Why are we putting loads of energy into that? I mean, I'm not saying you can't wear what you want. Like, look what I'm wearing. I'm not wearing like normal plain clothes all the time, because I like to, like, even my shirt, like anything with a repetitive pattern, it's kind of a symbol of how people can get stuck in repetitivity. And it is part of our nature, ritual and repetitivity, but it's an enemy. And if you can break out of this repetitivity into creativity, imagination, all these magical things that we have as children, really that's going to be key in escaping this reincarnation cycle, because that's what we've all come to believe now, come to know, a lot of us, that we are here, like, and we've been here before, most of us. I don't think there's probably not that many like brand new souls just going around all the time, but you can tell, because these are the people that are amazed by everything. They're amazed. I won't go into maze, but yeah, these are the people that are like astounded by this great world. And you can be like that. You can get into that state despite being a wise or old soul, or even believing in that or not. You can get to the level of like pure mindful experience, and that's also another great thing, great way to live, a healing way to live, to not think about the past or the future. So yeah, I've gone on about words here, I've gone on about concepts, symbology, I've told you about a lot of things, reincarnation, spirituality, and I bring you love, even though it's not possible, we're online here, but yeah, peace and love. I hope you use these teachings, and ultimately, yeah, I'm just trying to get people to rise up into your highest being. So you can trust me or think that I'm something else or whatever. It doesn't really change anything. I know in my heart that if I can get conscious and happy and be well, then anyone can, because we are all from the same tree. We're all the same. Yeah, so let's cut away all this narcissism and classism and all these things that are ultimately not not serving, and let's be a common union together again. Communication, common union. Let's not miscommunicate, please. I pray for you guys. So let's get it right, okay? So everything else, peace in and out, love and high vibrations.